Okay, I think I'm on. Hello, everybody. I'll do just a quick update. Tomorrow, you're going to get the teaching post, which is Ephesians chapter 5. And the other morning, I think maybe this morning, okay, it was this morning, I was reviewing a little bit, getting ready to teach something different tomorrow. Not the Ephesians 5. Tomorrow I teach Kings, and that 19, that goes up in a week. But I picked a few verses out of Kings 19, which when it comes up, I'll do a little teaser here, and then talk a little bit of some issues. Colder times, I'll do that. I saw a lot of friends today, by the way, but as there's a verse that's going to be in Kings chapter 19, and that's the one verse that the Apostle Paul will quote in Romans chapter 11. But because I looked at those two verses, it's significant in the theology of Paul. It had to do with another chapter in the Gospels where it says Jesus had his face set like flint, and he was going to a certain place. That's going to connect to the teaching that's going to be in Luke. It's going to be Romans and Kings. And then, out of all my little verses I have written down on various papers, the one I picked up that morning was the same verse from Isaiah, though, but it says, he sets his face like flint, and I thought maybe I'll discuss it. Without having to teach the whole thing, it said because he was on a mission and he had his face steadfastly going towards Jerusalem, that the people of Samaria did not receive him. They were offended. And the disciples are going to say, should we call down fire from heaven like Elijah did? And that's going to be significant because for my Bible students, why did Elijah fail a particular test in Kings 19? God asks him twice the same question, and he gives a particular response. And then it seems as if that's going to be like the closure. Elijah will still do certain things, but what happened? And that's what led me to kind of meditate on those few scriptures. He gives the same response the second time, and there's a significant thing. And Paul the Apostle, when he quotes that in Romans 11, he gives us the key, okay? He gives us the key. Now, I won't teach it all right now because I hope to teach it tomorrow. I hope to post a different teaching tomorrow, which is Ephesians 5. I showed you that little thing. I picked up the paper earlier today. I saw a lot of my friends today, and then I thought, sometimes when you are doing ministry and various things, you say, okay, give me insight today. Wisdom is the principal thing, so you need wisdom. And it took about 10 seconds for me to be reminded that I had to fix certain things at the house where I do videos. A lot of times you see me say, man, the light's not good. I had a particular way to fix that. And so it took me a few hours to redesign my little office at the house. And I bought some lights with 100-watt bulbs and made it where I could record. But even though it was something simple, something I did before, I had forgot that I had fixed that in the past. And so I had to listen. The news today, and I got to listen to some talk radio. But the news, why did I show you that Colder Times front page? Trump age, some immigrants too lazy. I heard the man say that the other day. I heard the speech. It was John Kelly, okay? Military man that is also now, I guess, chief of staff. I heard what John Kelly said. And sure, it was not right the way he said it. It didn't deserve front page coverage. From the same newspaper, the Colder Times, that, like a lot of the media, they don't cover things that they feel are not for their purposes. Yesterday, I didn't get to talk much on it because my friend Tim showed up. But when I talked about an old Republican guy named Tom DeLay, and I was trying to share that I had like connections with Democrats because our union at the firehouse, those guys were Democrats, the president and all. And so there are things that happen like in South Texas, like everywhere else, where they will try to go after people, imprison them, and so forth. And if they know they're just kind of goofing around, they still go after you. That's what happened in the Tom DeLay case. So I watched things. My criticism of the Kohler Times this last few years, I've spoken openly about known connections, corruption with judges in this area, and I could never figure out why they would cover up for those people. I gave my ideas on it, and those that think I was making it up, they just busted a judge, arrested a judge, because for a year and a half or so, there was an FBI undercover agent posing as a lawyer. I guess he was a lawyer himself, but he was FBI undercover. And that judge, and it was down the valley, some of the corruption that goes on in this county, called Oasis County, when the judges, some I spoke by name, called out by name last year, when the heat's on, you know what those judges did? They escaped all criminal liability for things that a young man, by the way, is heading to prison for. The Kohler Times advocated for that judge because he was Hispanic and he was a Democrat. And they advocated for him to get away with crimes. I covered that, those that remember. But that judge went down to the valley, which is about an hour and a half from here. I posted a video on John, my teaching on John. I was in Harlingen when I made that video a year ago. I reposted videos of that. So you kind of have like a collusion in the sense that, the heat's on. We're going to leave Nueces County, where Hispanic Democrats, and then we're going to go down to the valley closer to Mexico, where because of the way media will cover up for corruption among Democratic judges if they're Hispanic, they feel flagrantly that they can do open drug deals, lots of stuff. I've seen that stuff go on. But the FBI had an undercover guy that argued cases before that judge, and that judge openly was taking bribes. They just arrested him like last week. Now, I read the article real quick. I guarantee you he was Hispanic and he was a Democrat. Why, John? Because the way the media operates is if you're a Democrat, particularly Hispanic, they cover for you, even if you committed crimes. And I showed that this last year. So when I watch the political stuff that goes on, today, and I even read it in the news and then I heard the clips, the top Democrat guy who's investigating Trump, Adam Schiff, released today was video, and I read the article on a online news site called the Daily Caller. This man, Adam Schiff, there were two comedians, Russian comedians, that called him last year on the phone, unsecure phone, and I heard the video and I read the article. So they're talking to this top Democrat, the man who's investigating, the top guy in the whole investigation going on in the House about Trump, all right? Their own investigation, criticizing the Republican man by the name of Nunes. Well, this man, Adam Schiff, he's talking to two comedians who are posing to be like Ukrainian officials. I believe it was Ukrainian. And they're saying, we have dirt on Donald Trump. Now, I'll give you something that the other media is not aware of. But the dirt they had on Donald Trump was, we have naked pictures of Donald Trump with a prostitute, or with the girl that he slept with in Russia. And these pictures Mr. Putin has, and he's going to use them to blackmail Mr. Trump. Now, these guys are spoofing the top Democrat, Adam Schiff. And Adam Schiff responds, I want that stuff. I want that dirt on Mr. Trump. We'll send someone to the Ukrainian embassy, and they continued contact. Now, this is a guy that's continuing to try and find dirt on Trump. And then he talked about this on an unsecure line. As a matter of fact, they recorded him speaking about this. The same media who said Trump's son had a meeting with, quote, Russians because they said they might have dirt on Hillary Clinton, which indeed did happen. When Trump's son met with them, and then they also had a meeting about other things. They didn't even give any dirt on Hillary Clinton. But the media went up in arms. How dare somebody try to get opposition research? But yet this is exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton. This is exactly what Mr. Schiff was looking for. And here's the thing that the media does not know, because I mentioned it about a year ago. I checked the news sites throughout the day. Fox, Drudge, CNN, all the news sites. That's one of the things I do. One day I went to CNN, and I mentioned this at the time. There was a picture on CNN of a naked man that looked like Donald Trump. And he was in a bed. There was a couple women around him. It looked like a Trump or a Trump look-alike, but it did not show you the face, but it showed you the bare backside. Now, when I saw that, that was on CNN. I thought, there's no heading, they're not saying what it's about. And then it was taken down about 10 minutes later. There was no, this is about Mr. Trump. We got none of that. I wonder if it was the fake thing. Of course, if you're going to sell fake, if people are out looking for fake stuff on politicians, you might actually have a man that looks or a woman that looks, but you don't show the face. And they put that up there. And what that shows me is this entered now into our country, where last night when I watched the news, our local news talked about the Black Chamber of Commerce. Just regular, it was KIII News. It was nothing bad, but as I looked at it, I said, if you simply said the term White Chamber of Commerce, which there are none, to my knowledge, that would immediately be considered a racist organization. And we've had problems recently at our college. People posted up some things. But then I noticed that the level of respect. I listened to NPR News the other day, again, liberal news on the radio, but it's on the weekend, so it's normally, they're just doing like public affairs things. But the one guy that's on NPR News, even in the regular conversation, they were talking about something nice. And he said, but I can't say the certain word. It was a bad word that they were discussing. And then he said, unless I'm quoting President Trump. Why? President Trump famously said, S-hole. But he said it in a private meeting, like Mr. Obama, Mr. Bush, Mrs. Clinton, at times in private, I'm sure have used curse words or cuss words. But that was leaked. And not only was it leaked, but they even thought it was funny to say, unless I'm quoting the president, sort of like our president says those things in public. Actually, he said it in private. But because he's a white man, the bar of the mocking of the man, the bar of you crossing a lot of lines, Mr. Schiff should immediately resign. And you know how the mainstream news covered it? That story broke, the thing I just explained, that when he was contacted by two Russian comedians pretending to be Ukrainian officials, Mr. Schiff even said on the phone, recorded, be careful what you say because the Russians might be listening to us now. He was speaking to Russian comedians, posing that they had dirt on Mr. Trump. What a disgrace these people are. You lowered the bar to the point where I heard one liberal the other day say, I forget his name, but he was a liberal, and he said it's a shame that the media and the Democratic Party, and this man was a Democrat, he said it's a shame that they cannot see that there was real wrongdoing done in a lot of the political investigations that have gone on. Remember this, Mr. Comey, James Comey, the former head of the FBI, all of this information that was collected and paid for by Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, they were the ones who actually had a British spy by the name of Steele collect false opposition research, but it was actually from Russian people that they paid cash to. The Democrats paid for this information, and it was unverified. And this same information passed the hands into the government agencies, FBI, Justice Department. And some of the political people One of them that looks like he's going to be caught up in this, I forget his name offhand. He was contacting, spoon feeding political opposition research that they knew were false into the FBI, and the FBI was kind of colluding along with it. You got something on Trump? You should never have that happen in a democracy. You should never have that happen in a democracy. And the reason I brought up that judge that they just busted down by the valley, he was comfortable as a Hispanic Democrat. I didn't even look it up, but I guarantee you it's that, because he figures he has cover. Because the media does on the local scale what they do on a national scale. They found time to say, I heard John Kelly when he made that statement, and it was wrong the way he made it, but that's front page news. But if you have judges colluding with drug deals and all, or judges that openly committed crimes that everybody would know, the same local media covers for that man if he's Hispanic. But they mock our local mayor, who's a white man. What I'm trying to show you is race and politics play a big role in what they do. Mr. Obama crossed many lines in things that he did. And if you even tried to openly say, wait a minute, the tapping of Cheryl Atkinson, a private reporter, a white woman, illegally Justice Department went in and tapped her computer, wrote a book on it, and that happened, not a single thing happened. You'd have impeachment if another person did that. But if you even criticize Mr. Obama, you're called a racist. So true people that are advocating for justice, I advocate a lot for the abuse that takes place, whether it's a homeless person or a black person or a Hispanic person. But a lot of people hide behind, see, we advocate, we're out for justice. You cover up for corruption in this county, the local media does that. You cover up, you mock, you have real wrongdoing. It's a disgrace that the Democrat leader, Adam Schiff, and you know what the media is talking about today? Not that story. They're talking about the other guy by the name of Nunes. It's a huge political game, okay? I wanted to give you that little update. I didn't even read. I did buy the paper, as you see. But when it happens on a huge scale, Mr. Comey, when he opened up this investigation on Donald Trump, there was a big feeling within the country, as well as the Democrats, as well as a lot of people, that this man no way is going to get elected. And the media were comfortable with calling him a buffoon and all these things. A white man, that they would never do that to a black man. And open mocking. And so it was sort of like we could cross the lines. Yeah, we're using political stuff. It's illegal. Mr. Comey actually brought this information called a Russian dossier. He presented it to Mr. Trump. And he said, I want you to know this is unverified. But we just wanted to let you know that there's something out there. And he himself, 5 months earlier, used that same information that he told Mr. Trump was unverified. It's not substantiated, but we just want to let you know it was given to us. He used that same thing to go before a court and to present as evidence to wiretap, if you will, an American citizen by the name of Carter Page. So that in itself is wrongdoing by Mr. Comey, because they didn't give that judge, and that judge might have been just as political and corrupt as the ones you hear me talk about. There's no guarantee. The media was supposed to shine light when they see wrongdoing. In this country, they're doing the opposite. They feel it's free to speak real negatively towards white people, that they would never speak that way against either Hispanic or a black man. I think you should give the same respect to people regardless of race. The media, even in this local area, they'll cover up for corruption among Hispanic Democrats, and they'll do that for years and years and years and years. And yet you have a white politician who's a Republican, and there's a white judge there fixing to put in prison here. And he claims that they're going after him. His name is Guy Williams. He claims they're going after him out of this whole thing. That's what he claims. And it's an amazing thing, because they do it on the local level and the national level. So that's a little update. I did see some of my friends today, and like I said, I did some work, but there's a lot of stories people can cover, and I just think it's a shame that we've gotten to this point. Okay, I went a little long. Hopefully, you'll see a teaching post tomorrow. God bless everybody.